I ended up going to school for my first degree in media production and communications, so something very, very different. I had struggled with some nutrition and health issues as I was in my teens and early 20s. When I graduated with my first bachelor's degree, I moved to Los Angeles because, of course, what you're going to do but go out to Hollywood. And that is where I had my first experiences with food insecurity. I had experience with food insecurity, as we know, when people have to make choices about what they eat and the health of what they eat, and also what we refer to as very low food insecurity, where people do have to reduce the size and quantity of their meals. I lived in a pretty low-income neighborhood, and for me that was the first time I personally experienced having both food insecurity and living in a very unsafe low-income neighborhood. It got me very passionate about issues with food, nutrition, agriculture, health, relating to issues that deal with poverty and health disparities. And that really stuck with me. It had always been something I was concerned about, but those firsthand experiences make a big difference. I worked in advertising for a little bit with a media buying firm, realized that was not the field for me, moved into sales, and then realized that LA was not the place for me. Moved back to North Carolina, was very fortunate to have a great job with a good gallery, selling art to hotels, doing pretty darn well, but realized that something was missing and I wasn't happy. And even with a good job, good people in my life, I still wasn't happy. And I knew what I needed to do was to do something about those issues that I had been so angry about before. And I realized that nutrition was something that I had personal experience with, but I could also still be objective. And so I decided to pursue a career in nutrition. I was very fortunate in that the summer before I started here at NC State, as an undergrad in the nutrition department, I was able to get a job with the Food Bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina as the coordinator for their summer food service program in the first year of its operation. And after my first site visit, seeing the kids and what the food meant to them, I knew that was it. This is what I do. This is what I meant to do, as work with nutrition programs for low-income people. I worked with them for 2 years, chose my third year of undergrad because you do need to go for 3 years after going back to school. And then I went to the University of Minnesota to receive my Master's of Public Health. It was a coordinated program, so I was able to get my dietetics license at the same time. It's a great school, great experience there, wonderful internships with places like St. Paul Schools and Hennepin County Medical Center, the county hospital there in Minneapolis. Learned an amazing amount, and then of course it was time to go and find a job, which led me to applying for a job as the Nutrition Services Manager at the Idaho Food Bank. Idaho's beautiful, there's lots of great hiking and camping, by the way. And I was really fortunate to get it. So we packed it all up from Minnesota and we moved to Boise, Idaho. As the Nutrition Services Manager, I had 4 programs that were under my purview. And it was a great job, it was a wonderful place to work. I learned a lot, and I realized that I could be very, very happy doing that. But I found this job opening for SNAP-Ed, one of the nutritionists at SNAP-Ed at the national office, and I just had to apply to see if I could get it, and somehow I got it. And I am a nutritionist with the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Food and Nutrition Services, SNAP-Ed. There's a lot of collaborative work, so either working with other folks in SNAP or with other programs so we can make sure that it is consistent messaging that's coming out as far as the nutrition messages through FNS, and there's a lot of communication with the regional offices, and then working with organizations such as the National Collaborative on Childhood Obesity Research that involves other branches of other agencies with the government, academia, so really a lot of communication. But there's not so much a typical day, it's just making sure that all those things are met during a day and that I'm connecting with the right people. So you may wonder, when you're looking at programming from a national level, how do I use nutrition daily in my job? And let me tell you, it is nutrition all day, every day. So a great example is I am leading up the effort to review new nutrition education and obesity prevention interventions for the SNAP-Ed toolkit. That means I have to read a lot of nutrition research, so I understand what's going on in the field. We can have discussions about who we should reach out to for new interventions, so I understand what really the most cutting edge evidence-based programming is for a program like SNAP-Ed. So it is constantly reading about nutrition, thinking about how to communicate those messages with the lay public and also with practitioners, understanding current issues in nutrition so we make sure that our program is addressing it, be it issues of malnutrition for seniors or something like lead contamination in Flint. And I think the thing that I really learned from that was it's good to have goals. Never make your entire life about a single goal if you possibly can. And so in the years since I graduated and since I've gotten into a place where I am really, really happy where I am, but on making sure that yes, I'm looking for the next goal, because being a goal-oriented person and somebody who's that driven is just very much part of my personality, and that's never going to change. But making sure that I have other things in my life too that I'm passionate about and that I'm doing and working with that can give me more of a balance in my life. And when I had gone to school the first time, when I went for the media degree, I didn't really have to study very hard. And when I came back, it's a lot of chemistry, right? It's a lot of math, it's a lot of science. And I didn't know if I was going to be able to make it through. I had to work my butt off. Never had all A's. It was never easy, never came easy for me. And I had to oftentimes work 2 jobs while I did it. So it was very hard just to make time and keep a roof over my head while I was doing it. And I applied to pretty competitive schools for grad school. I was fortunate to get in and again worked really, really hard to make it happen. But I did it, and I did it well. The day I walked across the stage for my MPH, I was very excited and I was like, this is mine. I get this, that was mine. I did struggle a lot, and it was very hard to ask for help. I'm not somebody who likes asking for help, but once I did it, it was very easy. Your teacher's assistants, your professors, they want to help you and they want you to do well. So ask for help early, ask for help when you're first starting to struggle with something, and it will make your life a lot easier. I also would highly suggest doing something that I did that was very effective. I looked at job descriptions while I was in school, starting my first year with NC State, and I looked at specific skills that they expected you to have. And I sought out either particular coursework or volunteer opportunities to gain those skills so I could have a portfolio of work when I started looking for a job. One thing I will say is make sure that you, again, have that balance that I had to learn about the hard way. And that you're doing something else that you love, but that is maybe not directly related with what you're working with and studying, to keep you from burning out, but also to help keep sharp some additional skill sets. One of the funniest things that I got asked in an interview for my current position was, tell us something that makes you a good fit for this position. I was trying to think of a great answer to it, and I really just started laughing, and I said, honestly, I could give you examples from work, but I'm going to talk to you about backpacking. And that ended up actually being what helped me get that position. So don't forget, do lots of stuff that involve what you're passionate about, what you want to do, but those things that you love, that are a part of who you are, may actually be your biggest selling point.